When the alien's tears began to burn through the floor, the studio audience stopped laughing and started screaming. 3 hours earlier, the lights were steady, and Master Chef Vor Clixis believed he was about to humiliate an entire species.
Ladies and life forms, welcome to Spice Diplomacy. Tonight, we settle the galaxy's biggest culinary question. Can an alien handle Earth's heat?
I have consumed the legendary star pepper of Dreloth -7. This paltry display will be a mild diversion at best.
Whatever you say, Chef. I am not the one who'll be crying in 3 minutes.
The wager had been struck weeks earlier, during a tense diplomatic channel, when Earth's ambassador had made a joke that would change the galaxy.
I bet you a star system you can't handle one bite of Earth's hottest dish. And I mean a real bite.
Accepted. My palate has defeated biotoxins that would liquefy your organs. Prepare to lose your insignificant colony.
Now, with the cameras rolling and the galaxy watching, the first dish was placed before him, a single jalapeno popper, the deceptively innocent beginning to an interstellar catastrophe. With a flick of his clawed fingers, Vor Clixis lifted the golden-fried jalapeno popper, sniffed it, and shrugged dismissively.
This is the best the Death World has? Barely a tingle. The star pepper of Dreloth -7 at least made me sweat for a moment. I have consumed star peppers that could ignite a gas giant. This paltry morsel is less threatening than a bowl of unsalted grain.
Don't get too comfortable, Master Chef. That little pepper was just the warm-up. Next, we're moving to the real test. Our habanero salsa, made fresh this morning.
What he doesn't know is that this salsa separates the tourists from the locals. I am going to enjoy this.
Bring it. My palate has been forged by 1,000 fires. This will be a mild diversion.
A stagehand placed a bowl of deep red habanero salsa before the alien chef, steam rising from its volcanic surface. Vor Clixis leaned forward, eyeing the sauce with the same disdain he'd shown the popper, his fangs glinting under the lights.
This is your weapon? A red sauce? It looks like something you'd serve to hatchlings on a holiday. I am utterly unimpressed.
The studio fell quiet as the chef reached for a spoon, the crimson liquid reflecting the overhead lights like a harbinger of chaos. Vor Clixis plunged the spoon into the salsa and raised it to his lips, a single crimson drip clinging to the edge.
A sharp tang, then an unexpected warmth. This is not like the first morsel. There is fire behind it.
He swallowed. A tremor rippled through his lean frame, and a glistening bead of sweat rolled down his orange brow.
How are you feeling, Master Chef? That habanero packs a punch, doesn't it?
It is acceptable. A brisk sensation. I require water, but do not think I am defeated.
He grasped the cup with trembling claws and downed the water in one gulp, but the burn only dug deeper.
The habanero's just the opening act. Wait until he meets the scorpion.
A valiant effort, Chef. But we have one final challenge. The Trinidad scorpion wing, the hottest dish on Earth.
A collective murmur rippled through the audience. Some covered their mouths, others leaned forward with morbid curiosity.
A wing? You think a mere paltry limb will break me? I will consume it and declare this planet's cuisine mediocre.
Behold, the Trinidad scorpion wing. 1.4 million Scoville units of pure, unrelenting fire. This, Master Chef, is what we call dinner.
Seriously, Vor, I wouldn't if I were you. That ranch won't save you this time.
Your concern is touching, human, but I have faced stellar radiation and won. A little heat is nothing.
He snatched the wing from the platter, crimson sauce dripping onto the pristine white tablecloth. The studio fell utterly silent.
This aroma is aggressive, but I am a master. I will not show weakness.
Audience members exchanged nervous glances, phones raised to capture the moment. Even the medics on standby shifted uneasily.
He has no idea. His kind never evolved the receptors for this. This is going to be spectacular.
Vor Clixis raised the wing to his lips, his fangs bared, The sauce glistened like warning lights under the studio strobes.
For the Yisari Compact, for my honor, I will swallow this without flinching.
Then, before anyone could object, he opened his jaws wide and bit down. Hard. Time seemed to freeze. The dry crunch of breading shattered, and thick crimson sauce flooded his mouth. Capsaicin latching onto nerve endings, his species never evolved.
My sensors scream betrayal. This is not a flavor. It is an assault. Every receptor shrieks in unison.
Clear tears streamed down his orange face as he chewed faster, desperate to swallow the agony away. But the burn only swelled.
Chef, you are turning an interesting shade of vermilion. Should we call for a beverage or a priest?
I am. Cough. Perfectly fine. This is merely a brisk pungency. My species enjoys. Respiratory exercise.
Beside him, Andrew selected a wing from his own concealed platter, swirled it through a cup of ranch, and crunched into it without expression. The swallow was a mistake. The capsaicin sheathed his throat in blazing chains, and he clawed for his water glass with a shaking hand.
This devil world has weaponized its own vegetation. How do these monsters eat like this every day?
We really do have a medical team, Master Chef. They're right over there, looking nervous. No shame in tapping out.
I will not be undone by a paltry appendage. Proceed with your broadcast.
But the next tear that escaped his eye was not clear. It was a viscous, luminescent green, and it sizzled as it hit the air. The drop struck the white tablecloth, and instantly a small crater erupted, smoke curling upward with a sharp chemical hiss. All at once, the studio lights flickered violently as some unseen power surge rippled through the set, accompanied by a rising electronic whine.
His tears are burning through the floor. We need a medic, now.
Andrew, unmoved by the pandemonium, raised a lazy hand and called out to a frozen stagehand without looking away from the meltdown.
Hey, can I get a Bud Light? This is incredible television.
4. Clixis staggered up from his seat, both hands clutching his throat as if trying to contain an internal explosion. More acid splattered the stage.
It burns. By the stars, it is eating through my ducts. My own body is deserting me.
The audience erupted, some screaming, some laughing nervously, a dozen phones live-streaming the alien chef's violent biological revolt. Through the smoke and failing lights, a red emergency beacon began pulsing, and 2 medics sprinted toward the collapsing alien. The lead medic, Dr. Elaine Morrow, slid to her knees beside the convulsing alien, her gloves smoking the instant they touched his acid-slicked tunic.
His biosuit can't handle the pH shift. I need saline. Now. And someone cut the damn live feed.
Andrew crunched the last of his wing, licked the sauce from his thumb, and glanced at the overturned ranch cup now swimming in a puddle of acid.
Told him. Ranch really would have helped.
We are off the air. I repeat, the broadcast is dead. Somebody tell the network we have a fluid crisis.
On every screen across the galactic network, the image resolved into a simple static graphic. Technical difficulties. A final surge of acid sizzled through a floor cable, and the remaining studio lights plunged into an emergency glow, casting the gurney in harsh red shadows.
He's stabilizing, but his internal organs are rerouting. I've never seen a cardiopulmonary system flip the bypass like this.
The audience, now a mix of horrified silence and nervous giggles, parted as the gurney was wheeled through, leaving a trail of faintly smoking footprints. Andrew stood, stretched, and pulled on a worn jacket over his Pepper Palace t-shirt, while the alien ambassador to Earth wept acid in the wings. At the Cedars Sinai galactic wing, Vor Clixis lay suspended in a sterile chamber, monitors beeping erratically as Dr. Morrow examined a glowing green vial.
This fluid isn't just acid. It's descaling agent, the kind we use to clean ship hulls. His body converted capsaicin into industrial-grade solvent.
Within minutes, the clip leaked across 1,000 worlds. Holographic news banners screamed, "Alien chef cries acid on live stream."
Look, it's just wings, man. I told him not to eat the scorpion. Nobody ever listens.
On the galactic social feeds, memes exploded. A picture of the acid crater captioned "Earth's dressing" and 1,000 variations of a screaming Vor Clixis. At the studio, A maintenance crew sealed off the stage after the acid ate clean through the subfloor, leaving a fist-sized hole that still smoked. A reporter shoved a microphone toward Andrew and asked if humans were concerned about diplomatic fallout. He laughed.
Diplomacy? Buddy, I just won a star system.
Galactic analysts began calling Earth a death world of flavor, a backwater planet whose cuisine could chemically dismantle alien biology. And while Vor Clixis floated in medical stasis, Andrew was already fielding offers from hot sauce companies. When Vor Clixis finally opened his eyes, the world seemed drained of color, or perhaps that was just the sterile hospital lighting.
Master Chef, the capsaicin caused extensive neural damage to your gustatory pathways. You won't taste anything for at least 2 galactic years.
A tear, crystal clear and harmless, traced a path down his orange cheek. Not acid now, just grief.
I am a chef without a palate, a composer without ears. I am obsolete.
Andrew arrived uninvited, carrying a gift bag stuffed with sample bottles of hot sauce. He tossed it onto the foot of the bed.
Figured you'd want a souvenir. Also, I got a call from a publisher. They think your story could sell a few trillion.
Then I will write it. I will chronicle every searing moment. The galaxy will know my humiliation.
A nurse, sensing his resolve, silently placed a datapad on his lap. The screen glowed expectantly. He stared at the blinking cursor for a long moment, then typed 4 words. The day I met capsaicin. Andrew watched from the doorway as Vor Clixis began to write. The first sparks of a literary wildfire that would consume 3 galactic sectors. In a quiet wing of the Isari embassy, Vor Clixis dictated his memoir to a floating orb recorder, his voice trembling only when describing the salsa.
Chapter 1. The First Tingle. My arrogance was as vast as the star pepper fields of Dreloth -7. I believed Earth a culinary joke.
Miles away, Andrew was in a Nashville diner, sketching a wing-shaped logo on a greasy napkin and grinning at his own genius.
Atomic wings. Hotter than a supernova, served with a side of chaos. This will print credits.
A venerable publishing house received the first draft and immediately greenlit a cover, a glowing scorpion pepper on a black field.
I am telling you, put a skull on the logo and call it Atomic Wings. People will eat it just to say they survived.
I want the galaxy to taste my humiliation. Every searing remnant of that crimson sauce will be transcribed.
The Atomic Wings logo solidified, a cartoon wing wreathed in flames, a tiny skull nestled in the breading. And on 1,000 holoboards across the system, the book cover began to pre-render. The day I met capsaicin. Andrew signed the franchise paperwork while Vor Clixis typed until dawn, their fates now welded together by capsaicin. The Universal Expo on Isari Prime became a pilgrimage as Vor Clixis took the stage, holding up a bound copy of his manuscript.
Within these pages lies the most exquisitely painful day of my existence. Read it and tremble.
Within a single planetary rotation, the memoir shot to #1 on the bestseller lists in 3 galactic sectors. Alien readers devoured it like a horror novel. Fascinated by the concept of voluntary agony for flavor, tourists descended on Earth's barbecue belt, clutching books and demanding the wing that nearly killed the chef. Memes spread across the galaxy. Vor Clixis clutching his throat, captioned "Cry Acid or Go Home." Andrew cut the ribbon on the first Atomic Wings in Nashville, a neon temple to the sauce that dissolved galactic dignity.
Welcome to Atomic Wings. We've got mild, hot, and I just lost a bet with an alien ambassador.
A 4-armed Vorkian ordered a scorpion wing, bit, and wept, but no acid. Progress, and so Earth's barbecue belt transformed into a pilgrimage site, the air thick with smoke and the sound of aliens sobbing. Within 6 months, Atomic Wings franchised into 30 cities and 2 orbital stations, each one a temple of neon and napalm. Andrew appeared on the cover of Forbes Galactic, leaning against a custom crimson hovercar, his faded red t-shirt visible beneath a 4,000-credit blazer.
Honestly, I am just glad the alien didn't die. That would have been bad for business.
On Isari, Vor Clixis addressed a grand auditorium, still tasteless, but now throned as the galaxy's foremost expert on mortal spice.
Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the flavor of a species that refuses to be bland.
The galactic markets responded. Andrew's net worth breached 300 billion credits, all from sauce and a deadpan smirk. A young Veldok hatchling got a tattoo of the scorpion wing on his forehead, the ink sizzling slightly as it set. The 500th atomic wings opened on Mars, right beside the Olympus Mons tram station, its logo a beacon for the brave. Every receipt had a skull wing stamp. Every kid's meal came with a tiny bottle of mild sauce. And every franchise paid Andrew a royalty. Earth's wealthiest private citizen still wore that same faded red t-shirt to every board meeting. A quiet reminder that he had bet on a wing and won. The Yasari Compact convened in emergency session, the Grand Parliament chamber buzzing with interspecies tension. A holo screen replayed the Acid Tears clip, and a wave of chittering discomfort swept the delegates. One Veldok delegate, throat still raw, testified that a single wing had nearly dissolved his trachea. A motion was raised to issue a universal biological hazard, warning for all earthbound vessels. Subcommittee tested pictograms. Flames, skulls, screaming faces, but the simplest was a red dot. The resolution passed. Henceforth, every Earth spaceport would display the crimson circle at the Los Angeles port. A technician bolted the first red dot sign beneath the glowing departure board. The dot was plain, unadorned, pulsing faintly under the terminal lights, a wordless ultimatum. Underneath, warning text scrolled in 17 alien scripts: consumption may cause systemic failure. Within hours, the symbol blazed on holo news across the galaxy. Earth's spice was now officially lethal. The first tourist vessel landed at Port Alpha, and a Veldok family halted before the glowing red dot.
First, tourists, post-warning, are arriving, and they're calling it the Red Dot Dare. Let's see who flinches.
Some turned back, clutching their translator pads. Others laughed and took selfies with the ominous sign.
They see a warning. I see free advertising. Every red dot is a billboard.
A blue-skinned pilot stared at the dot for a full minute, then exhaled and walked toward a street vendor. The vendor shrugged, swirled a mild wing and ranch, and offered it like a dare. 3 blue fingers closed around the drumstick, tendons taut. The crowd leaned in, teeth met breading. The alien's eyes bulged, then a shaky thumbs up. No acid.
And there you have it. The red dot doesn't scare everyone. Some call it a challenge.
Within a week, bookings tripled. The warning had become the galaxy's deadliest tourist attraction. In Austin, a Veldok family ordered jalapeno poppers. The mother bit, squeaked, and wiped her eyes, but ordered another round. A hulking Vorkian warrior demanded the scorpion wing. 2 bites in, he dropped to his knees, panting steam, but refused to quit. The crowd chanted as he finished the wing, then collapsed sideways, still clutching a copy of Vor Clixus's book. At a franchise in Nashville, a tiny insectoid child took a nibble of a medium wing and smiled. The mother wept with pride.
These guys cry acid. This kid's just built different.
Copies of The Day I Met Capsaicin were stacked beside the napkin dispensers at every franchise, a survival guide in disguise. An insectoid's live stream of its own scorpion attempt went viral, racking up 10 billion views as it wept clear fluid. Chefs in a dozen kitchens worked triple shifts, tossing wings as fast as the sauce could be poured.
I am not in the wing business anymore. I am in the panic business.
And somewhere, a child alien got a tattoo of the red dot, an act that would have been unthinkable a year before. 2 galactic years after he lost his taste, Vor Clixus stood on a gilded stage, accepting the Yasari Lifetime Culinary Achievement Award.
Last week, I tasted salt for the first time in 2 years. A single grain. It was the most beautiful thing I have ever experienced.
The auditorium fell silent, then erupted into applause.
But I did not come here to celebrate. I am returning to Earth to finish what I started, the Scorpion Wing.
Within the hour, galactic news blazed with the story, Master Chef returns to face the wing. He packed his original chef's toque, the one stained from the first challenge, and booked a commercial flight.
I am terrified, but terror is no longer a stop sign. It is an ingredient.
He looked at an old photo from the hospital, the day he'd lost everything, and for the first time he smiled. At the departure gate, beneath a glowing red dot warning, a journalist asked if he was afraid.
Terrified, but I've learned that flavor is born from pain. I am going to taste every second.
His ship touched down at Port Alpha, the very terminal where the red dot had first ignited fear across the galaxy.
2 years ago, I fled this world in a body bag. Now, I walk back to the same fire.
A crowd surged around him as he entered the studio, now a museum where the original table was cordoned off like a shrine.
He walked right back into the devil's mouth. Gotta respect it.
A replica wing, dripping the exact same sauce, sat on the exact same plate beside an untouched cup of ranch.
The aroma is a memory of agony, but I smell complexity now. Smoke, sweetness, a promise.
Andrew, unseen in the shadows, raised a beer in silent tribute.
I am ready.
He lifted the wing with steady claws, the sauce glistening like jewels, and brought it closer. 1,000 cameras zoomed in. The galaxy leaned forward. The moment was everything. Time snapped forward. Teeth sank through the coating, and a familiar fire bloomed, but this time it had shape.
Smoke first, then sweet molasses, then the burn, climbing like a slow sunrise. I can taste it all.
He swallowed, and the fire descended into a deep, resonant hum. No panic, no acid. A clear teardrop slid down his orange cheek, not scalding solvent, but pure, untainted relief.
It is beautiful.
Told ya the ranch helps.
The museum erupted. Aliens and humans alike rose to their feet, roaring approval. Vor Clixus raised the half-eaten wing like a trophy, sauce dripping down his wrist, a victor's grin on his face. And on 1 trillion screens across the galaxy, that same crimson-drenched wing became proof that spice could be conquered.
I have tasted the death world, and it is magnificent.
The moment replayed instantly on every feed, and the galaxy watched a conquering alien chef laugh through a mouthful of wing. Andrew descended from the VIP booth, still holding his beer. He crossed the stage and extended a hand.
Took you 2 years, but you finally figured out the secret. The sauce is just the excuse.
And the pain is the point. I will write a sequel. The day I made friends with capsaicin.
A publishing house representative rushed the stage with a holographic contract. Vor Clixus signed without reading a word. By nightfall, the red dot warning was being repainted in kitchens across Earth, no longer a hazard, but a promise. Yisari Parliament received a formal request from Earth to rename the warning Spice Advisory. Proceed with respect.
We're gonna need more wings.
Earth declared the anniversary of the challenge, Hot Wing Day. The first celebration was held at the very studio where it all began, and at the center, the two rivals sat at the very same table, sharing a plate of atomic wings and a cup of ranch. 1 year later, the first atomic wings opened on Yisari Prime, its logo blazing beneath twin suns. Plastic red dot keychains sold out in every gift shop, and a plush wing with a tiny skull became the season's must-have toy. Vor Clixus starred in a tourism ad, grinning as he bit a wing, the tagline, Earth, come for the scenery, stay for the tears. Earth's economy surged 16%, all from spice tourism. Bankers called it the Scoville Surge. Andrew opened his 100th intergalactic franchise on a space station, the line stretching into docking bays. The Atomic Wings logo became the galaxy's most recognized icon, second only to the red dot.
Best bet I ever lost.
On the grand opening of the Yisari flagship, Vor Clixus sliced the ribbon with a wing bone.
We are no longer enemies of the spice. We are its ambassadors.
And somewhere, a child alien chewed a mild wing for the first time, eyes wide, tears of joy streaming down its cheeks. A new passenger vessel docked at Port Alpha, and a young Veldoc with wide eyes stopped before the glowing red dot. He stared at the crimson circle, its pulsing glow reflected in his dark orbs. The advisory scrolled, Spice Advisory, proceed with respect. He had no idea what that meant. An older traveler chuckled. That's the warning, kid. Earth's food bites back, the young alien swallowed. Is it really that bad? Nearby, a human vendor heard and held up a wing dripping with crimson sauce. Only one way to find out, the vendor said with a grin. The Veldoc hesitated, then stepped toward the stall, the scent of smoke and spice tugging him forward. He reached out, 3 slender fingers trembling as they neared the crimson-drenched drumstick. The crowd leaned in, and the red dot pulsed overhead like a heartbeat. The young Veldoc bit down, and the crimson heat detonated. His dark orbs flew wide, pupils dilating to pinpricks. He sputtered, a thin smoke of condensation puffing from his nostrils, but no acid, just stunned discovery. Behind him, humans and tourists alike erupted in cheers, applause, and the clink of wings on plates. A single tear slid down his cheek, clear, harmless, the same tear that had been shed 1,000 times before him. The red dot glowed above him, no longer a threat but a badge, a promise of glorious pain. Earth, a death world, where the food fights back, and the locals call it lunch. The circle that began with one chef's agony had become the symbol of a species' unbreakable appetite. And as long as ships docked and wings were fried, the red dot would pulse, a heartbeat of fire, because in a galaxy of delicate palates, humanity's greatest weapon was a little red dot, and that dot was delicious.